Hey guys, how are you? Hope everything is well. So I ran across a post on Quora. I thought it'd be interesting to read and give you my 2 cents. As usual, so I hope everybody is well. If you like the stream, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. So let me just jump into it, and people can watch the replay if they want to learn more. So let me just get into it here. All right, so I'm going to zoom in on this. Boom, 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 boom. All right, here we go. So this guy claims, well, it sounds like he's a 40-year veteran author of the book Optimize C++, Kurt Guntheroth. So there you go. So the question is, I started my first web dev job this week, and I feel very out of my depth. The software code is huge and hard to navigate. What advice can you give which may help me in this new role? So, little shot at grape juice first. Let's do it. There are things you need to understand about your situation. I read through it briefly, so I agree with everything this guy was saying. You will never be as productive on this project as developers who have been there for the whole project. They have all the secret knowledge it will take you years to acquire, especially a very large code base. You and your manager need to have the same understanding of the situation, or you are going to underperform expectations and get laid off. If you don't have a shared understanding that you can't possibly perform as well as the folks who designed this flaky old project, you might as well quit now and wait to be fired. Wait to be fired. Okay, but we go on. Did I miss something here? Okay, no. This company has bad design practices. The company made an affirmative choice not to do documentation and run a messy project, and now it's biting them in the butt, on the ass. These decisions made 10 years ago are not your fault, and you don't need to feel bad about not being very productive. Of course, there was some information here that I skipped, but you get the idea of what's going on about this project, right? So let me just get into it. Keeping a legacy project running is not glamorous work. In fact, it is thankless. It is a thankless task. The project no doubt is full of bugs because it was poorly implemented. In your users' minds, it would be your fault that bugs didn't get instantly fixed the moment you were hired. In your manager's minds, all the excitement is directed towards the new things that some other engineers are working on. You are a necessary evil. So I guess this guy was hired to debug. Keep your own counsel. Here's some good advice. Don't go whining about the low quality of the legacy code. Don't go griping about your thankless jobs. You can know in your head that it's not your fault, but it's career suicide to talk about it, except for setting expectations with your manager. Even that must be done gently and not too often. So that's good advice. The best choice and the only choice is to begin correcting the situation. Start writing documentation. Start writing tests. Refactor the project one function, one member at a time. Take small bites. Test your changes. Don't be ashamed to refactor the same code more than once. Every time you fix a bug, take time to do a little more refactoring. If you're on the job more than a year, it will pay you back. Managers of this kind of project think refactoring is a waste of time. Don't tell them what you're doing, or say it was impossible to do anything else than what you did. Stand up to them, ask to be reassigned if they keep browbeating you. Keep monitoring how your manager feels about you. You are in an impossible position. Don't expect your manager to think you're a hero. Expect your manager to think you're not working hard enough, despite what you know to the contrary. Keep your resume up to date and change jobs the moment something better comes along. Legacy projects are the first things to get canceled. Your job goes away when your project goes away. This is another good reason to keep your resume up to date with your contacts warm. So that's that's fairly, I would pretty much agree with most. I would see what other people say. They have secret knowledge. In response to that, this guy writes, in many cases, it is secret. I worked on similar projects for a while, and whenever I asked questions to get an understanding of something, I was basically told off by the lead developer who didn't want to share his knowledge. I didn't stay long and moved on to another company. Miles be a secret if reading the code and documentation doesn't make it obvious. All right, so there's a lot more. I guess we can go down here. If you're in your manager's mind, all the excitement is directed towards new things that some other engineers are working on. You are necessarily experiencing this. Yeah. So let me just let me go back up here. I want to comment on a few things. So originally answered, as a software developer, how do you manage to get up to speed by your own when placed in an old, long-going project with no support and business knowledge, with co-workers too busy to help you? So yeah, that's a necessary reality, that's a common reality when you're doing legacy code work, working on old projects. You're going to have to deal with years and years and years of all the missteps and all the usual problems that you can have with old pieces of software. This is not to point the finger at software developers or necessarily to point the finger at managers. The fact of the matter is, when you're in a production workspace, when you got to hit deadlines out very quickly, people cut corners. People do things that they may not necessarily do normally. So it happened with me with my latest SaaS, Studioweb, where the previous version of Studioweb, we kept having to patch it and add new additions based on what the clients were telling us. So it was a very quick and rough and tumble process. But with all that and a messy code base and multiple developers moving in and out on the project, I still managed to keep it going for several years until eventually I had to rewrite from scratch. I took that decision and I rewrote from scratch, and there you have it. So understand, when you go work for large corporations, if you're going to be doing Java or C#, oftentimes you're going to be supporting old code bases. And when you're supporting old code bases, debugging code and patching old code bases, extending it is a very, it's tedious work. It could be tedious work. So just keep that in mind when you think about going to work for a large corporation. If you want to do new projects, new work with new technology and so forth, typically, not always the case, but typically you're better off going to work for a startup or a small, medium-sized corporation, or do freelance work where you get to work on clean code, develop your own thing. So, there's pros and cons to everything in life, but there's a reality of working in certain environments. You have to deal with that kind of thing. So if you like these kind of discussions, please give me a thumbs up. It's good for the Google algorithm, guys. So let me answer a few questions related to subject or not. Hey, Joseph, let me get this down. Working on the security implementation for a final project due tomorrow. Got your stream in the background. All right, well, good luck on that project, man. That's cool. Doi Nyung Zhang, hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. I'm never this early. Hey, there goes the boat. It's finally about to start. Yeah, the boat is the key, man. I really appreciate your calm demeanor, intuitive coder. Man, no problem. Welcome to the stream. Grape juice. Hey, Stefan. Hello, Alex. How are you? Good evening from Brazil. Hey, man, how are you? What part of Brazil are you from, Daniel? I don't know, Sao Paulo, Rio, I don't know. Was just working on your web dev course, and here you are. Very good. I'm glad. Thanks for picking it up. Hey, Steph. I'm from Wichita, Kansas. I know, I recognize you, Kelby. How are you? I hope you are well. I'm fantastic. Is a lack of local job postings indicative of being unable to find enough clientele for full-time freelancing? That's a good question. Not necessarily. Lizard worries. Yes, indeed. Not necessarily, because we're in COVID times, right? So freelance is it's mainly small business development. So who's gotten hit on the chin during the whole pandemic? It's the small businesses. With the vaccines rolling out and things are starting to open up, I think we're going to see within a few months, we're going to start seeing a big boom, pent-up demand. So I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you as a freelancer. So hold on to your shirts. Be a little bit more patient. We're months away from all this happening. So I think that's a very good question. But I think we got an anomalous situation here with the pandemic. So we'll see what happens. But that's very good. Worst case scenario, you put up a site and you start mining other states around you, I feel overwhelmed trying to get a dev job. Well, you're making progress, dude, right? So you get there. Hey, Steph, I got myself another client for a website. Hey, congratulations. A mom and pop chocolate covered strawberry. Small business, but I'm stuck on the design. Help. Oh, what I would do is I would look around at website templates as inspiration. You can search by category. So you might want to look at restaurant templates, that kind of thing, or candy templates. Just go to some of the big template sites out there, and I think you could probably find some inspiration for your new project. You like my hashtag neon light there? Anyway. Well, congratulations on the gig, dude. It's a good problem to have. I'm currently learning Java Spring, which I found quite overwhelming. Seeing how big it is. Spring MVC, Hibernate, Cloud, Security, Spring Boot, JPA. Yeah. How much do you think is enough for work? I wouldn't be so concerned about the individual modules, if you will, within Spring. I haven't looked at Spring in such a long time, so I would just try to build something with Spring. And then as you're needing to build something, like build a shopping cart, as an example, and then implement whatever you're going to need. Hibernate, you're going to need security there. I don't know about Cloud, Boot, yeah. And then, this way you start to get a feel, once you build an actual real thing with Spring, what you need to learn. You got to understand, the key to being a successful developer is just to learn the minimum that you need to be productive, and then you want to get into the workforce, or you want to get freelancing as quickly as possible, and so you get paid to learn the rest. That's very common. Programming as Stefan Live Podcast. Oh, happy day. Well, thanks. Your opinion on weed. Okay, so I'm in Canada, and we've legalized weed, I think it was like 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. And everybody thought the sky would fall. Not everybody. A lot of people thought the sky would fall, and nothing happened. I'm not a smoker. I'm not even a drinker. This is like, I only, a bottle a week, only in the summertime. I don't drink in the winter at all. That being said, so I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not a smoker at all. I have hardly ever in my life. It's just, I'm nothing against it. It's just not my thing. That being said, what we found is nothing has happened. And I remember back in my university days, and I took one of the classes I took in psychology, that was my major, was on drug abuse and why some people get addicted to drugs and other people don't, etc. And as a result, we looked at the different types of narcotics and drugs out there. And even like when I went to university, that's like 175 years ago. Even back then, it was known in the sciences that weed was far, far less damaging to the body and the brain than alcohol, like far less, like even back then. And it was just, I don't know what it was, politics and habit and culture that just made it illegal, even though like the scientists knew that it was far less damaging decades ago. So here we are now. Canada is, I think, the first G7 nation to legalize it. Nothing has happened. We haven't gone into a spiral where everybody's stoned on the street. So that's my opinion on weed from a guy that doesn't smoke. So my general opinion. My general opinion is that you don't want to engage in anything that you feel compelled to take. You don't want to be addicted to anything. You find yourself compelled to do something, whether it be weed, alcohol, or gambling, or whatever. You want to back off. You don't want to be a slave to some external thing. That's my advice to you. The Google Overlords needs the thumbs up. They do need the thumbs up. Yeah. How are we doing? Okay, good. What will be the role of developers if AI finally hits the market and is able to program websites by professional standards? What is your opinion on that? Thanks. I don't think that's coming for a long, long time. I have friends who are big into AI, two company owners, and somebody who's doing I think it's either his master's or his PhD in that field. It's a long way away. Like, long before the web design developers are replaced, accountants will be replaced, bookkeepers will be replaced, so many other drivers will be replaced. So when you see all these other professions are replaced first, then you can think, ooh, then coders might be up next, but they're going to be way down in the cycle because it's so complex. And when it gets to the point where they start replacing accounting and bookkeepers and drivers and so forth, the whole economic system has to realign accordingly. So I wouldn't be concerned about it at all, like at all. Hey, Steph, can you tell me pros and cons between small company and big tech company? Yeah, I think I just discussed that to a great extent. The advantages of a small tech company is that you're going to be given more responsibility probably. So that means you're going to be exposed to more technologies. So one day they're going to say, okay, we're going to build this with JavaScript and Node, and then 6 months later say, hey, we got to build an Android app. Can you learn Kotlin, do an Android app, or maybe we got to do a PWA, So you got a lot of flexibility there. With a very large organization, you're going to be put into like a silo, where you might be working on the authentication system for 2 years. So you'd be working on this huge code base probably, and you probably won't be switching outside of technology stacks. So not always the case, it's not always the case, but that's typically the way it is with larger organizations. So you have more freedom with smaller organizations, and more technology options that are going to be thrown at you. So that's kind of cool when you're young, especially when you're young in the game. So I hope that helps. When starting a new job, should you work after hours to learn code base? No, not unless you're falling behind. As long as people are not complaining about your work, don't burn yourself. If they're happy with your level of work, then you're fine. Brent says, greetings, Stefan from Kentucky. Well, which juice is it? It's Shiraz from Australia. Australian, actually. I'm not, like I said, either California grape juice is good, Australian grape juice is good. Of course, French grape juice is good. So, there you go. There's many others too. You get good grape juice all over the world. I'm not, greetings, Pedro. I hope you are well. I don't have a palate, so whatever. What use better for beginners, React or Vue? I would say Vue. What is better for beginners, React or Vue? I would say Vue. The hardest bug you have ever fixed? Yeah, the hardest bugs were... The hardest bugs I ran into was early on when I was dealing with Microsoft technology, early Microsoft web technology. It's not a shot at Microsoft because it was early days. And I remember with classic ASP, the error codes were just, they told you nothing. You would get like error 802.18556784578910. That was the error. Didn't tell you where it came from. It didn't tell you what the error was all about. You just got some random error number, and you looked it up on MSDN, and you got nothing. It would say, that's a random error. That was it. So those were hard to debug because of the terrible error trapping in early ASP Classic, as an example. The hardest errors are, I can't think of anything specifically right now, but there's different types of errors, right? There's errors of logic. JavaScript could introduce silly little stupid errors because of the way it handles overloading. So you may inadvertently recast a variable to a different data type, and you don't know why the bloody code is not working, and it's just like a question of some quotes or something. So those little typographical things can be problematic. I can't think of anything particular at this point in time. But yeah, that was the most costly error I ever had was with Studioweb years back, where because one of the lead developers forgot to he didn't properly index one of the main tables in the database, was SQL database. The whole system was tanking. So when we would have all the schools would start logging on, and when a particular table would fill up with more than a few million records, the whole system was coming to just crashing. Not crashing, but it was so slow, and it was unusable. And so I had to keep upping the server power, and the hosting was costing me a bloody fortune. It was costing me like a Porsche payment, and and it just wasn't working. So I finally had to step in. My new lead developer comes in, I come in, and we're looking through, and I said, we got to figure this out. And anyway, long story short, we figured out it was just a stupid little error, but the table wasn't indexed properly. And once we fixed that, it was done. That was the very costly error. It cost me many, many, many thousands of dollars, and it was just such a simple fix. Yeah. Steph, when will Quebec become an independent nation? What are the chances of it? I think that's pretty much over. The old guard of separation, they're really getting old, and the new generation doesn't really have a stomach for it. I was talking to a friend of mine who was an old separatist, and he's no longer a separatist even. And he was saying he thinks because of the internet and the web, French-Canadian culture has been exposed to more of the world. And I think younger, meaning under 40-year-old French Quebecers, they generally believe that they're not into separation anymore, at least a strong majority. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. If you don't know, I'm from Quebec, Montreal, Quebec, and we had the specter of separation for 50 years, something like that, since the 70s. And there's 2 referendums, and we came this close to separation, like 0.5%. Anyway, I'm finishing your web stack courses, and I'm buying Lizard Wizard tomorrow. How would you suggest doing both? I would do Lizard Wizard. Just take a break from web stack. Oh, if you have it, just do the Lizard Wizard, and you're going to see it's going to help you with all kinds of different areas. Get back. Let me know how it goes, HJ. I'm curious to know what you think about Lizard Wizard. It's popular. People really love Lizard Wizard, getting very good reviews for that. How important is the terms for JavaScript? How important is the terms for JavaScript? I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Let me do a little shameless self-promotion, so hold on here. So, first of all, if you're new to code and you want to understand what it's like to work as a C++ programmer, or what it's like to work as a PHP programmer, or a JavaScript programmer, or a Python programmer, etc., you should check out this CODER'S career path. Link is below. You sign up, you get access to a free 29-minute video lesson. It's really going to give you a nice overview of what it's like to work as a different type of programmer in different types of companies you would work for, so forth. So check it out. CODER'S career path, Lizard Wizard. Excuse me, that's CODER'S career path, not Lizard Wizard. And then you got the mentoring here. We got the mentoring program. If you want to get everything that I teach, it's lifetime access. This is my premium boot camp, if you will. Hundreds of lessons. This is for beginners. It's for beginners. A lot of the value here is for beginners, but you do get into quizzing and certification, soft skill training, resume building, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Private mentoring, consultation. So check it out. Link is below. There's a little shameless self-promotion for you. I'll answer some questions. Hold on. By the way, you guys should check out the Discord. Link is below. Discord is growing quite nicely. Just in a few days, we've had, I think we're up to 600 people now. So that's pretty good. Vue is sure best for beginners. There you go. South Korean car. Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Thanks for joining the stream. Question, what is a good project to start? What exp should you have? 6 months, 1 year, 2 years? Should you just jump and find a job with no experience at all and learn on it? If you go to my YouTube and look for the video, the 7 steps, it's like 2 videos before this one, 7 steps to becoming a pro developer. You see a thumbnail of me and my long hair with the number 7 right here. And that will answer that question in great detail. All right. And no worries, no worries. Trey Brown says, I'm new to JavaScript and programming. I have a good friend who is helping me to learn JavaScript. How much studying should I do a day? Maximum of 3 to 4 hours a day, maximum. Minimum of 20 minutes a day, 4 days a week. Hello from San Diego. We have lots of beer, 140 breweries. We need you to visit. Yeah, I do. Once the coast is clear, I'll be definitely traveling to Southern California. Hey, Stefan, React and Node or .NET Core? Depends on the projects. Depends on the projects. You should do my aforementioned Coder's Career Path, and should maybe also, do those. That's going to help you a lot. And check out some of my previous videos about the 7 steps where you're going to get into that kind of stuff. All right, what's going on? All right, hello, Steph. Sir, I learned skills, but I don't know how to do marketing for freelancing to get clients. Again, you should take out my freelance course. I get into that there. It starts with getting up a nice website, and then doing a couple of freelance gigs for free from Upwork or something like that, and starting to develop some reputation, starting to reach out. One of the tips I give is if you go to Google Maps and find local businesses and check out their websites. And you find a website doesn't look too good, call them up, say, listen, I'll fix up your website for free. And you just gotta do it a couple of projects for free just to get the ball rolling. Hello from Greece. Hey man, how are you? All right, here we go. Well, Steph, as much as I really don't want to, guess I'm going to go to college. With my experience and a degree, I'll be unstoppable. Got to stay focused on that, but 4 years for a 22-year-old is a while. Yeah, I got to understand that. It's like it's nearly 20% of your life. But 4 years will pass like this. Start writing code, and you do well. So, that's cool, man. No worries. You're quite young. 22, fantastic. Good age. Great age. Should I go for game dev or front end? I just know C++ and data structured algorithms. Sounds like game dev is more aligned with the skills that you have. Do you like programming in C++? Do you like doing data structures? That's the question I would ask yourself first. And take it from there. And you may start with game dev, and maybe in 2 or 3 years you pivot to something else. So it depends what you like to do. Thanks as always for your answer. I listen to your streams and back catalog here at my dead-end job to constantly remind myself of the brighter career ahead. Hey, no problem, Kelby. Just keep working at it, and you'll get there. Your Wizard Lizard course is a gold mine. I'm glad you like it. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to plug it. So let me plug it again. Here's Lizard Wizard KOMODO. So KOMODO is a free, it's kind of a practical implementation of Lizard Wizard principles. So you sign up for free, link below, and I'm going to send you via email what I call the daily spells. Of course, they're not daily, they're every 3 days. And in there, you're going to get a Lizard Wizard psychology training task, which is going to help you train your mind, but also teach you some of the principles of Lizard Wizard. And here's Lizard Wizard. Now, don't let the silly name fool you. This is a very advanced course in psychology and your mind, but it's very practical. Everything I do is very practical. That comes from my martial arts and business background. So anyway, so you check it out, Lizard Wizard, $20. So this one isn't free, but it's Lizard Wizard teachings are based on cognitive sciences, which is a fancy name for psychology. My martial arts background, about 30 years, meditation background, and my business experience, all very practical. 2 hours of video and audio, complete audio downloaded MP3 so you can listen on the go, and a PDF ebook summary, a summary of the lessons. So it's kind of like a review. But you can check out what's covered in here. It's quite fun. People really, really, really love the course. As you just saw, people find this mind-changing. If you're learning how to code, this will help you learn code more quickly. If you are a coder and you want to get better at interpersonal skills, you want to be able to reduce anxieties, you want to understand why you feel anxious in the first place, this is going to work wonders, I think, for you. So check it out, Lizard Wizard. I'm quite happy with this. It's probably one of my best executed courses. That's saying a lot since I've been building courses for longer than many of you have been alive, I think. Okay, let me go down. Your Lizard Wizard course. Okay, yeah, there. See, gold mine. See, what I did, typically with ebooks and books, I'm a published author, right, for my web design book. They need a certain length, right? So in the ebooks, you'll see, or audiobooks, you'll see it'll have 8 hours runtime. And after you listen to it, you could probably get it done in an hour, right? But they go on with these long stories. What I try to do, being a pragmatic nerd, entrepreneurial nerd fighter who is concerned about just getting things done quickly, I've condensed things into Lizard Wizard. So instead of 8 hours, it's all in 2 hours. So it's packed full of information. Don't let the fact that it's 2 hours fool you. Anyway, we are years from AI even replacing drivers. Seriously, years. I agree. Should we learn Vim in the long run if we want to learn to code cross-platform? No, you just use it if you need to. There's a lot of cross-platform code editors. I just started a new job as a WordPress specialized developer. Hey, congratulations, Corrosive. WordPress is like the 800-pound gorilla in the room. It's used so much. On the Discord, I cut some stats, some recent stats, and you see how pervasive WordPress is. All right, let's see what Christian has to say. I was developing on PHP for 6 years. Then I found a job with Java, which I had never used. And to be honest, it taught me so much about good principles in OOP, stuff that in PHP ain't that obvious. Yeah, PHP has got a loose background. I assume you're using older versions of PHP, like PHP 5.6 and so forth. If you look at PHP 8 especially, it's really pushed up the bar. But yeah, that's how I learned how to code myself as well. I did most of my coding in Java. I don't know what percentage, I don't know if it's 70% or 60%, but I did most of my code in Java. And when you learn Java or C#, something like it really forces strict structure and teaches you how to code well. But I would not personally be starting new projects in Java because it's too verbose. Hi, Steph. Can I start a career of SQL? That's maybe, but it's very niche. It's very niche. You have to become a DBA, database administrator, but it's much more opportunity web stack, back end, front end. But it's possible. I'm starting on, and it would be for a large corporation as well. I'm starting an internship with a small company. They asked me about React and other tech. Then at the end of the day, they told me they only work with WordPress. What do you think about it? Well, you probably spoke to an HR person, and maybe they were thinking, maybe we'll use React, but at the end of the day, their money comes from WordPress. So then maybe they were thinking about, maybe we'll use React in 6 months, see if this guy knows React. But that's the thing that people, I tell people, PHP, WordPress, it's big, and a lot of people never believe me. And then they go out there in the real world and they go, oh my God, it's real. Steph, do you offer a consult? So I do it through my mentoring program. And once in a while, depending, people will pay me. But if I have time, it's actually a good time now because schools are starting to close down for the summer. So my workload drops quite a bit in the summertime. So hit me up, but I ain't cheap if I do it. Depending on, sometimes you could just ask me a question, I'll just answer. It could be pretty simple. General Motors says driverless cars by 2019. Gross Jean said self-driving cars by 2020. Tesla said no steering wheels on cars. How that worked out, I do seriously believe we are far away from that. Yeah, we'll see. They could say driverless cars or self-driving cars where they drive you on the highway, but not in the city streets. We'll see what happens. You never know, right? But I don't know. We'll see what happens. The thing about focusing so much on what to do and what to learn is you never stop learning. My first job was writing SQL to fix databases. That was scary. I had to learn it on the job. Yeah, well, that's the real world of coding, dude. That's why I always say work on the fundamentals, good interpersonal skills. This is Wizard will help you there. And then you get into the real world, because the real world of programming, a real world of coding is a lot about learning on the go. All right. Yeah. What do you think the Pay Google courses? I haven't looked at them. I think mine are probably better though, but I'm very biased, right? I have to. That's another thing. You shouldn't be worried about humbly suggesting that you have good skills. Like one of the things you learn as a fighter, one of the things you learn as an entrepreneur is you have to be deadly honest with yourself vis-a-vis your skill set and your abilities. You have to recognize where you suck, but you also have to recognize where you're good, right? And why do you got to recognize both? So that you can accurately deploy your time and your assets accordingly. The same thing as a programmer. If you're not good with design, then you should not do design. I'm talking like visual design, front end. Some people are just not good at it. Some people are just are good at back end and deep coding and algorithms. And some people it's the opposite. So you have to figure out what you're good at and play to those strengths. So there you go. Douglas Wajas de Costa. Hey man, I am from Brazil and I'm trying a job in a outsourcing company from San Francisco, California. Hey, I should expect less than half of a salary. How this market works. Latinos are the new India. That I don't know, dude. When you first, I don't know what your experience level is. And so that plays a big role more than anything else, how experienced you are. If you are become a very valuable coder there, and you write good code, you deliver on time, you're easy to work with, you got good communication skills, they're going to start paying you more because they're not going to want to lose you. So, when you first start out, you're making less. That's just normal in any profession. Laugh out loud is loosely typed language providing the wrong type of argument. It shows entirely unhelpful errors. In fact, JS and unhelpful errors are like white on rice. And yeah, that's 100%, Alan. 100%. No, well, some technology, the coding languages, the way we build web apps is pretty much the way we've been building web apps since 2012. It really is. The only thing that's changed is DevOps has become a little bit too sophisticated, in my opinion, and you got much more sophisticated server models. But that's all starting to be streamlined and simplified now. I use DigitalOcean as one of my platforms, And DigitalOcean is fairly sophisticated, but they've come out with new server models where you don't have to be a server expert anymore. So it simplifies that a lot. And I have another local hosting company, is a VPS. They do it all. I had to do nothing. You just got to have a GitHub account, and then you upload to the live server with your command line. That's it. So that's the way it should be. How are we doing for time? Okay, I'm going to be ending off pretty soon. I think I got a super chat. I got to get to that super chat. That would be rude otherwise. Oh, here we go. All right, coffee on Dan. Thank you. I appreciate it. Would you buy a modern condo with a floor-to-ceiling windows wall? Would you buy a modern condo with a floor-to-ceiling windows wall? Do you know where I live? That's what I have right here. Is the whole wall? I have French doors right here. So I kind of bought that. I would. If there was something available, I would. Hello. So I bought your courses in 2018, didn't finish due to personal solutions. Now I'm back and going to revisit your courses. Still relevant, or do you have other suggestions? 100%. My HTML, CSS, my website courses, I update them as need be. I'm about to release the biggest update in a while. Not that I really need them, in all honesty. You can check out the reviews, but I'll just adding a little bit here and there. But you're still good. Just email me with your Studioweb ID, and I'll upgrade your account for free. Once you buy a Studioweb course, you basically have access for life, so don't worry about it. Hey, Stefan, I recently got a job in sales, technology, virtual events, conferences. Very cool. Your courses helped me so much. I am forever grateful. Thank you so much. Any advice for selling tech? Well, I'm glad I could help you, Mike. Congratulations on the job. I think that you have to, don't get caught up on the technical details of the software or of the technology. Sell them on the functionality that the software provides. Sell your clients on why using their software will make their lives easier. Don't get caught up in all the nerd details. And I've been guilty of that all the time. So for example, when I was selling Studioweb to schools, for the first while I would list, okay, we got 300 lessons, and we got this many quiz questions, we cover JavaScript, and we go into all kinds of different things. In Python, they learn object-oriented programming. And all this for the teachers is like, whoosh, they didn't care. They didn't care. So what I did do is I changed it. I said, well, your students are going to learn real-world code. It's going to be really easy for you. You don't need to know anything about code. It's going to be fun. It's going to be engaging. I use the language that teachers understand and use. And it takes care of everything for you, all the reporting and all the grading, and it will just allow you to have a smooth running classroom and students having a great time and learning a lot of code without you having to do much work. And then all of a sudden sales started happening. So there you go. Hey, Hillary, how are you? Hi, Steph. I'm nearly 60 years of age and learning how to code. Congratulations. In your opinion, is there much of an age bias involved in people my age trying to get employed? You will have a little bit more difficulty, there's no question. But what you could do, Hillary, is you could look at maybe freelancing as an option. I don't know what your background is, but if you have a background in another, I don't know if you did accounting or bookkeeping or something, maybe you'll be able to provide coding or some technology services to people from your previous place of work, if you will. Not necessarily the same office, but you know what I mean, in the same field. Other than that, no, yes, at 60, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. There's no question about that. But, there are options for you. And so, yeah, welcome to the game. Welcome to the game. I appreciate it. I'm catching a conversation. I'm buying it tonight. The value from Stefan and Studioweb has been incredible, much better than my college. I appreciate that. Thanks you. Selling yourself greater than going to college. Yeah, this, college, even Google is saying, for technology, don't go to college. They're saying that. Now, if you want to get in certain companies, you still need it. If it's free, fine, that's cool. If you're getting into medicine, you got to do it. If you're getting into, legal, you have to have a degree, right? If you want to become a lawyer. But if you're getting into technology and development, you want to get into business, no, don't do it. Especially if you're going to be in debt. Like for me, I think it's immoral that in the countries will have 17, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and 20-year-olds sign up for huge amounts of debt that is non-dischargeable through bankruptcy. That is like basically debt slavery, right? You have to pay that debt or you're done, and it accumulates with interest. It's pernicious and evil, in my opinion. Sorry, shouldn't have done it. Especially having kids doing things like sociology and psychology, the arts, where they're not going to make any money. It's not political. It's just reality, right? It's like, dude, what are you doing to these people? You're 18 years old. You don't understand what you're getting into. They're not told, most of these people. It's a sad thing. So if college is free, fine. That's cool if it works out for you. If it's not free, and you have to go into debt, be very careful about that. Be very careful, because college debt is the most dangerous debt you can get into. It's the most dangerous debt you can get into. So be very careful about that. I really can't think of anything to ask you anymore. I just joined when my stationary bike. I just joined when I'm on my stationary bike. I definitely recommend Steph's course. I appreciate that, Devin. Raw SQL or ORM framework, both. You're going to use a little bit of both. I don't like the magic that ORM does behind the scenes. I like being in the control, but do you think it's better to mix the two approaches or keep it simple? You mix them. Sometimes ORM can be useful for, your basic CRUD operations, It just makes it quick when you got to, save things to database or retrieve things, because the ORM will do all kinds of optimizations as well, right? But you're always going to have to get down and dirty with your SQL at some point as well. Yeah. Cameron. SJ, it's a great investment. The course will really open your eyes. I appreciate that. Good. Hello from Orlando. Yeah, if you want to learn, get more reviews, just go to Google and type in Studioweb, Studioweb Montreal, Studioweb Canada. You find me, and you find all the reviews. I think there's 160 reviews. I shut down my internal review system, even though I had thousands and thousands of reviews. I decided I'm going to just go outside. I'm going to go with the live, so people can see real students live, and also Google reviews. So it's to me it's more credible. It just seems more credible. So I got about 160. I think they're just about all 5 stars. So there you go. What else do we got? Monsieur Affaire. I built a couple of projects. One of them is a ride-sharing service, a PHP website with MySQL and Firebase. Android apps projects is on production. 4 years in service. Can I consider myself a tech lead? Yeah, well, it sounds like if you're comfortable designing and organizing a project, assigning tasks to different developers, sure, why not? Now you're going to have to make sarcastic jokes. That would be nice. An AI to manage drivers, one that doesn't install drivers for stuff I don't need. How we doing for time? Okay, we're going to be closing up. I had hard stop at 60 minutes here. What has the better prospects for the next 5 to 10 years? Full stack web development or data engineering? I don't know, but I think they're both good. Best coding language to choose that's future-proof. They're all, because once you've learned any of the top 10 languages, Python, JavaScript, Java, C#, C, C++, PHP, once you learn all those, any of those rather, you will be able to pivot very easily. What you're going to learn, John, as you get into software development and coding, that as a developer, you're going to learn new languages along the way. And what you're going to learn is that to learn a new language is like this, especially the third language. The second language you'll learn in a fraction of the time that it took you to learn how to program in the first place, maybe 10% of the time, if that long, 5% of the time. And the third and fourth and the fifth and the sixth language you'll learn something in a day, and then you'll be up and running. So I wouldn't be worried about choosing the good future-proof language because you just learn to program. It'd be like saying, what car should I learn to drive? What future-proof car should I learn to drive? Once you learn how to drive a car, you know how to drive pretty much all cars, right? It's the same thing with programming languages. They're all very similar, give or take, you know? All right. Last couple of questions. Steph, I'm in the process of interviewing for a software position. I've done 6 interviews already and waiting for an invitation for a 7th final one. Ooh, very close. If I pass all the previous ones, stress. No kidding. Good luck with that. That's good. The fact that you already got you're at the 7th. First of all, you should pat yourself on the back right for that. You've done 7. You've done 6 successfully. That's fantastic. That's fantastic, right? So congratulations. So even if you don't get the job, you've done really well. And at this point, if for some reason you don't get it, just say, what was up? What was up? What could I have done? And they'll tell you. And then you'll be fine. But let us know how that goes. Good luck with that. But yeah, you already accomplished a lot, dude. You're at the 7th. Fantastic. That means you're conducting yourself very well. Thoughts on mental health as a developer? Okay, I'm going to end with this. Yeah, I think mental health and physical health are very important. And so you have to have a balanced lifestyle. That's one of the reasons I put out Lizard Wizard, the aforementioned course and the training, because I took it for granted because I have a psych background and my martial art background and so on. I took it for granted, I had the mental training. And to be calm and collective and organized, very important in your career. More important to have those skills, and they're skills. Like to stay calm is a skill. You can learn it and train it like anything else. Patience is a skill. You can learn it and train it like anything else. I got that from martial arts, actually, a lot of that. Anyhow, so it's very important that you stay mentally grounded and balanced. I have, in my life, I can tell you what separates the happy, successful people from the not so happy or not so successful is much more often about psychological balance. So that means get in decent shape, eat healthy, rest well, get your body mass index in shape. If you're lighter, less stress on your body, less stress on your brain. Brain and the body are all one. Take breaks. I go for a walk at least an hour a day. If the gyms are open, I'd be exercising. It's very good. It will make you a better developer. If you want to become a more productive developer, I strongly stress that you get in shape, that you have a more balanced lifestyle, you unwind. So once in a while, yes, the nature of software development, you're going to have to do sprints. You're going to have to occasional grind. But at the end of the day, you should psychologically set up your life and structurally set up your life and your working habits so that life is not about grinding for a goal. You should enjoy every day when you wake up. So very important. That's a very good question. All right, so we're at 58 minutes. I'm going to scroll down. I'll do one last one. Okay, Fabric. Hey, Steph, should I use TypeScript in all projects, or is that just an overkill for some projects? Well, if you can write TypeScript very quickly, and it doesn't slow you down, then use it all the time because it has certain advantages, right? But that's up to you. It depends on the job. Hey, Steph, nice to see you. You too, Arthur. How are you, man? Please live 100 more years. I'm trying. If not, you're going to have literally thousands of videos of me chatting away. As long as they don't take down YouTube, you'll be good. How do you feel about tech in Austin, Texas versus Bay Area? I don't know. Austin, apparently it's a lot of tech companies are moving down to Texas for tax reasons and so forth. I haven't been to Austin. I plan on going there. I actually own places in San Antonio, so it's pretty close to Austin. I was supposed to go down there, but then COVID hit. How now I should start sarcastic jokes that killed me. You gotta be careful with sarcasm, especially online dating. Doesn't work well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed the streams, and appreciate my students pumping the courses. It's always appreciated. Okay, best local secrets. I'll see if I can find you. Hold on a second. If I can find you, I'll try to answer that question. If not, here it is. Hello from Orlando. There we go. I asked a question incorrect last time. I like to rephrase it. Do you have any plans on releasing a cloud development engineering course in the future? Nothing in the future, but you never know what will happen. What I'm doing is I'm doing some pro course updates. I'm expanding Lizard Wizard KOMODO, and I'm doing some other projects as well. So, of course, I have so much there with my mentoring program, all my courses. There's so much. I've downloaded my brain into those materials. So it's up to you if you want to take advantage. All right, we're going to end off with the ASMR in the boat. If you want to chill out, this is from Maine. I got a super chat. I'll answer that super chat. There we go. 2 coffees. All right. I graduated a software bootcamp, full stack development, about a year ago. I have no degree. What do you recommend to increase my job prospects? Go back on YouTube about 2 or 3 videos, and you'll find a video where you see me with a big 7 steps to getting a full your developer job, and that will answer all those questions. Thanks for the super chat. You just got to get out there, generally speaking, but it's all answered in there for you in great detail. So dedicated videos, like 2 or 3 videos before, right on YouTube. All right, thanks for joining the stream, guys. Don't forget to join the Discord if you haven't already. Links below. There's over 600 members already. It's only been 3-4 days now, and we're fixing that up. I'm going to be adding bots, and I'm going to be adding new capabilities. And since it's growing so quickly, I'm probably going to do some dedicated Discord-only content to make it a little bit spicy for you guys. Okay, Mark. Can you get a job at 18 at a high school with a portfolio and freelance experience? Sure. Would employers pay you minimum wage? Well, it'll start you off lower, but as you develop skills and you get better and better, you're going to get higher and higher pay. So, yeah, no problem. You can definitely get a job. Thanks for joining the stream, guys. I'll leave you with my main ASMR boat video so you guys can chill out. If you're stressed out, this will relax you.